2025 was an absolutely crazy year for Miku concerts. Although it wasn't jam-packed full of events, the concerts that did happen had so many interesting things going on, which sets the tone for a very promising future. So in this video, I'm going to be recapping the Miku concerts of 2025 and the most notable things that happened at them. The year started off with the Japan Blooming Tour that visited 7 locations during April and May, and for the first time, a quiz was released to tease some of the songs that were going to feature at the concert, all of which were pretty standard songs, including Tokyo Teddy Bear, Fireflower, as well as brand new songs from Meiko and Kaito, but there was one teaser that everyone was interested in the most, one with a very unmistakable clue that hinted at a very popular song from 2024 that featured a non-Krypton character, and that song was Mesmerizer. And everybody was left questioning what this meant. This song was 100% confirmed to be performing at the concert, but how was the question? Was Teto going to make her stage debut at an official Miku concert? The red question marks besides Miku's name certainly suggested it. Or was it going to be the case of Teto being switched out with a Krypton character? Much like they replaced Gumi with Len in 1-2 Fan Club. Krypton provided no other clue, so we had to wait a couple of months before we finally got our answer. Teto appeared and made her stage debut at an official Miku event, which is absolutely insane and opens up so many possibilities for the future, and the performance for Mesmerizer was stunning, with many references to the original video, including Miku's eyes turning black near the end of the song. And I can't imagine being someone who avoided the teasers to go in blind and suddenly seeing Teto on stage, as this is the first time a non-Krypton character has ever performed at a main Miku event. Teto only featured for the one song, but the fact this happened at all proves that nothing is impossible and could mean we can randomly see her pop up again in the future. Other than Mesmerizer, 3 other songs live debuted at this event, being PSI for Miku, Caged Flower for Kaito, and Silhouette Dancing in the Night for Meiko. And as you may have noticed, both Miku and Meiko are wearing brand new, unique outfits in these performances, both of them being based on the outfits they wear in the song's respective music videos, which is absolutely amazing to see, as we haven't seen song-specific outfits being made in a really long time, and is a move in the right direction for more creative performances, instead of just sticking the characters in their default outfits or using a Project Diva outfit that may not completely fit the vibe of the song. But other than new performances, this event had many old songs that haven't been performed in a really long time return to the stage. The most notable of them all being SPiCa, which finally returned after 13 whole years since it last performed at the final Thanksgiving Day concert in 2012, and the performance still uses the arcade render rather than it being remade, which just makes the return of the song that much more nostalgic. Other returning songs at this event are Cat Food, Alien Alien, Akatsuki Arrival, and Magnet, all returning after 7 years since they were last performed. Catch the Wave also made a return, making this the second time it's ever performed. However, due to the fact this performance was made for a larger stage, and Blooming's stage is smaller, Miku has a serious case of sliding around due to the performance being condensed. Not to many surprise, Magical Cure Love Shot featured at this tour, performing at every other location, making it the first time a Miku EXPO contest winning song performs outside of Miku EXPO. And unfortunately, it wasn't part of the setlist which was recorded, which is an absolute shame, as I'm sure the Japanese fans completely smashed the callouts for this song, and I'm sad we won't get to see it. And Yume was performed for the first time in 7 years as well, but interestingly, you'll notice Miku is wearing a t-shirt, and that is because this performance is from all the way back in 2013 from Magical Mirai, where she performs in one of the event's merchandise t-shirts. And this was the only time this version was used until this tour, which I find is such an insane pull from their archives, and now all I can imagine is every single performance they've ever done just sitting on a hard drive somewhere. Much like the previous Japan tour, each location had its own exclusive song that were all chosen based on a producer who is local to that area. Those songs being Culture in Osaka, Deep Sea Girl in Nagoya, Two Breaths Walking in Fukuoka, Brain Revolution Girl and Melancholic in Tokyo, as they had 2 days, Poppy-Po in Takamatsu, Dreamless Dreams in Sapporo, and finally Two-Faced Lovers in Naha, which finally returns after almost 6 years, and being the last of wowaka's songs that hadn't been performed semi-recently, returning to the stage. Miku then performs the event's theme song, Overflower by Noz, in the main visuals costume as the final song, and even summons a microphone with a bouquet near the end to finish the song. Overall, this tour was a complete success for both new and old fans, with a perfect mix of new and old songs that shows a promising future for the next Japan tours. But before we move on to the next Miku event, if you're in the UK or Europe and are looking for Vocaloid goods, I highly recommend checking out Voca Merch. Voca Merch is a community-run project that focuses on making high-quality Vocaloid goods much more accessible in the UK and Europe. Voca Merch is run by VocaFest UK, which you may have already heard of as they hold fan-made Vocaloid concerts at conventions all across the UK and Europe. They have so very kindly sent me one of their lucky boxes, which is one of their newest products that have an assortment of different goodies inside, ranging from pin badges to plushies. So let's take a look-see in my lucky box, which I have to really apologise for this severely scuffed setup. As you can probably tell, I've never done this before, so I'm really sorry for some of the shots you're about to see. But before I even opened the lucky box, this little Len was just chilling outside the box. Look at his smug little face. I'm not sure if he was part of the lucky box and didn't fit, or if he was a little extra, but he is so super adorable and I love him so much. Now, as we open the actual lucky box, we are greeted by a whole lot of Miku. We have this adorable tiny Miku plush that's sticking her little tongue out, and this other precious Miku plush in this beautiful frilly outfit, and she actually has a little bracelet on, which is a real chain. Then we have this mouse mat with an adorable chibi design on, and the next item I giggled at because look at this Kaito pin. He's so goofy and shiny. This is my first ever piece of Kaito merch. And I'm glad that it was this. Next we have a pin badge, which I believe is a mystery bag. Oh, yeah, I'm not really good at this. But after getting it open, it's a pin badge of Magical Mirai 2024 Miku, which was on the front of the packet, so was it a mystery bag? I don't know. The next item I absolutely love the artwork of. It's this little Polaroid card, and I just want to eat it. I love the colours so much on this. Then we have some little VocaFest stickers of all the characters you may find at a VocaFest concert, and then we have 4 more badges, one of which is a non-chibi version of the artwork on the mouse mat, and another one being from VocaFest recent Spooky Fest concert, and apparently it even glows in the dark, which is pretty cool. And finally, we have this huge acrylic stand, and I mean huge. I have never seen an acrylic stand this big before. She is close to 30 centimeters tall, and that is insane. I am so happy with all of these items. They're all stunning and high quality. So if you are interested in purchasing a lucky box like this, or just looking for any Vocaloid merch in general, please do check them out at shop.vocafest.co.uk or through the links in the description, because they have so much available and their prices are so affordable, I couldn't believe it. They are mainly based in the UK and Europe, but they do ship internationally. So thank you again VocaFest for sending this to me, and I'm really sorry for the scuffness of this. Please do check them out in the links in the description, but without further ado, let's get back to the Miku concerts of 2025, the next of which is of course Magical Mirai 2025. This year's theme was Starry River in the Sky, and once more they visited 3 locations: Sendai, Osaka and Tokyo. As always, an album is released featuring songs that will be performed at the concerts, with a total of 10 songs performing live for the very first time, starting off with Play With Fire that opened this year's concerts and is a fun song with a sound that hasn't really been performed before, and also features a moment where Miku lays down on the floor during the song. Luca performs a song written for her 15th anniversary, Maga Maga, which something tells me this song may not perform overseas for some reason. Len performs Lavi, featuring speakers he stands and even sits on, and it's an adorable performance as he blows kisses into the crowd. But of course, Len had to remind us of who he is, and despite the cuteness, had to throw a couple of these in there. And Rin follows with a highly anticipated song, Young Girl A, which completely burst in popularity recently, that shot it up to be the most viewed Vocaloid song on YouTube, with the song even reaching beyond the Vocaloid fandom. So it makes sense it would be chosen to be performed live, but confusion is understandable as sadly Powapowa-P is no longer with us. However, I think this performance was done perfectly, and I think it's amazing how the song will be able to live on and be loved and enjoyed by crowds of the thousands, and is able to be performed and appreciated even after its producer's passing, the same way many other songs have continued to live on in their producer's memory. Following up is Kaito's new song, Vanish, which is a very different sound and feel to all of his other songs, but of of course he had to throw in a signature spin. And Meiko's new song is special as it was the song that was created for her 20th anniversary, featuring her iconic microphone that she did just completely toss into oblivion at the end. But moving on, we have a new Kaito and Len duet song, Flyway. And when I was watching people live tweet about the concert, they were making a lot of specific comments about this performance, and I thought, nah, there's no way. There was way. This is probably the most intimate performance we've ever had of two characters on stage, where they also have original outfits and perform a lot of ballet-like moves. Even with all the Twitter comments, I was not prepared for the amount of moments these two had in this performance. Following that is Meteor by John, which currently holds the record of the song that took the longest from its release to be performed live, performing over 14 years since it was originally released. Rather than performing in its full 8-minute length, the song was cut down into its Project Diva edit version, while Miku performs in her Meteorite module. And the final brand new song breaks a lot of new records. Do the Rock is an original Miku solo song, however for this performance they decided to bring all the girls together and they all performed the song as a band, playing instruments and even singing the song too. This marks the first time we have a performance with 4 characters, the first time Meiko performs on stage with an instrument, and the first time we ever see a drum set on stage. The song is also slightly adjusted to allow for some singer and crowd interactions, as all the girls call out for the crowd to sing along, with Miku thanking everybody before going to finish the song. It's such a nice touch that they went out of their way to make this a 4-character performance instead of just having Miku do it solo, and it makes me hopeful for more fun performances like this in the future. Then we have the contest-winning song, Streetlight by Negishowa-P, which features all of the characters. This marks the first time a song with all 6 characters has won the contest, and the performance itself has many cute moments between each of the characters. Now that may be it for all of the new songs, minus the theme song, but that isn't it for the new performances of this concert. Usually at Mirai, they have a new live song that they don't announce in the album, and instead just a surprise until the concert happens. However, this year they decided to revive 2 older songs. First being This Is the Happiness and Peace of Mind Committee, which has been revived from its first and only performance back in 2019 with the older R3 model. This time, Miku sports her siren outfit and performs the song with a microphone, similarly to the Project Diva video. Other than the amazing callouts this song has, by far the most amazing thing about this performance is that at the end, Miku rises up on a floating platform to perform the rest of the song, marking this the first time a character has ever done this. And it also means they are finally exploring the endless possibilities they can do with these performances, as this is such a unique feature and could tease more fun things like this being explored in the future. And the other performance they revived at this concert was Stargazer, which hadn't been performed in 13 years, its last performance also being in the final Thanksgiving Day concert in 2012. Unlike SPiCa, this performance was completely redone with the newer model and new choreography, however there are still many references to the original choreography. The reaction to this performance was a little mixed, as people prefer the original arcade model, however I think it should be seen as they are taking the time and care to recreate these old songs' performances and breathing a new life into them, and be thankful they even remembered these songs because they really just let them sit in the archives for 13 years. You're allowed to dislike the model, but I think we should still appreciate the effort they put into reviving this song. Although they didn't get a shiny new performance, many other songs returned at this concert, including 1/6 Out the Gravity, returning after 7 years, Last Night Goodnight, returning after almost 8 years, Starduster returning after almost 11 years, which I cannot wait to see the footage of and hear the crowd singing along, and Nice to Meet You Mr. Earthling, which returned for its second event after only being performed at Magical Mirai 2015 10 years ago, which now means there is only one song that hasn't been performed since 2015. Each location had its own exclusive song like last year, with Sendai receiving Solitary Envy, Osaka receiving Solar System Disco, and Tokyo receiving Nice to Meet You Mr. Earthling. As with every Magical Mirai, Hand in Hand was performed, and once more they performed the 6-singer version from last year, and they also all performed Blessing as well, making this the first concert where we have 3 songs of all the characters singing together, which we love to see, and this concert also marks the most songs all of the other characters have ever performed in one concert, with all of the characters aside from Miku performing in 6 songs each, which has been a long time coming, as for most of these concerts, these guys have been lucky to even get 2 songs, and I hope they keep it up for the future future because they all deserve more showtime. Then the concert ended with the performance of the theme song, Lustrous by Luna, and the callouts for this song are amazing, the model is stunning, and this has definitely been shot up my list of Mirai theme song performances. Overall, this Magical Mirai completely destroyed the boundaries they set last year, as they somehow continue to put on even better of a show every year. All of the performances were perfect, and they pulled out many old songs, as well as having many of these songs fit the theme of the event, which could possibly be a helping hand for guessing future set lists. And now we have the very long anticipated event, Miku EXPO Asia 2025, as Miku finally returns to Asia after a crazy amount of time. The tour set out to visit 8 locations, 4 brand new locations, and 4 locations they'd be returning to. Thailand, the Philippines, and South Korea were set to be visited for the very first time, with South Korea receiving a second concert, and they returned to Hong Kong, Taiwan, Malaysia, and finally Indonesia, where Miku EXPO began, and fans have been waiting 11 years for them to return. But there is one location here that has been waiting even longer for Miku to return. Although a brand new location Miku EXPO has never visited, Singapore has been waiting the longest for Miku to return, as she last performed there 14 years ago. And in case you don't realise how long ago that was, Meiko and Kaito hadn't even made their first live performance yet. That's how long the fans of Singapore have been waiting. And the other big deal about this tour is about what screen was going to be used. 2024's LED screen choice was widely disliked, so people were very interested to see what screen they would use at this new tour. Would they take the feedback and switch back to the projector setup, or continue to use the LED screen? And after the long wait, as the tour kicked off in Thailand, it was the LED screen. However, it was much bigger than before. So much bigger, in fact, it is now the same size as the Magical Mirai screen. Now, why is this important when all you care about is the fact it's no longer a hologram? Well, because this screen is bigger than before, it means that songs that were previously impossible to perform at Miku EXPO because they needed a wider screen can now perform at Miku EXPO. For example, Shake It was performed at this tour, which was previously never able to happen because of how far they move across the stage. The same way ID performed, which also needed a wide stage. 2 songs previously impossible to perform at Miku EXPO, now possible due to this upgraded screen size. A screen size we would never see with a projector setup overseas. This concert marks the first time these songs performed outside of Magical Mirai, and likely won't be the last time if they keep this screen this size, of which the tour's theme takes advantage of, as Miku runs onto the stage in her new outfit based on the main visual, to perform Artifact by Buzz G, marking the rare time where the theme song opens the event. And please, let us have characters enter the stage more creatively more often, because it was awesome the way she runs on stage, and I'd love to see it happen more often. This tour also contains many more surprises, such as Knife 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 by Kikuo, making its in-person concert live debut after it was first performed at Miku EXPO VR in 2023, and Envy Catwalk returns and performs 7 years after it was last performed in 2018. Vampire and Telecaster B-Boys performances were re-rendered with different models out of the blue, replacing the R3 model with the newer UK model. Does this mean they're trying to get rid of the R3 models? And does that mean every other performance that used them are going to be re-rendered out of them? Luca performs a classic goodie at this concert, Double Lariat, which is a solid choice for a long-awaited tour like this, and Kaito performs Literacy for the 5th Miku EXPO in a row. He is the only character to not have performed a different song at all these Miku EXPO tours. Krypton, please free him from this song. Satisfaction performs overseas for the first time in 6 years, and Sankyu finally returns and performs on a tour, which is in my opinion one of the best end of concert songs. And this tour probably had one of the best encores ever, as they kicked it off with Rolling Girl, which I didn't know I needed as an encore song until now. Hearing the crowd realise what song it was honestly sends chills through me every time. Then we have another previously impossible song, Decorator, where all of the characters appear at the end to perform the last part of the song. And then the final song for this tour, which I don't think they could have chosen better if they tried, is Melt. With everyone singing along, this was the perfect final song for the concert, which interestingly enough was re-recorded, although is basically exactly the same as the previous version, but was done so Miku could move straight into her final speech, where she announces she cannot wait for the next time she meets everyone, leaving everyone and hopeful she will return soon. And you may have already noticed, but there was no World Is Mine or Tell Your World, which I find absolutely crazy for a long overdue tour like this, but even so, I didn't see many people upset about it, because this setlist was jam-packed with so many new and classic songs, I doubt many people even realised these two songs were missing. But it does mark the first time Tell Your World does not perform at Miku EXPO. Overall, this tour was a huge hit. The fans were so very grateful that Miku finally visited or returned to them. The screen change is so huge and promising for the future of Miku EXPO, and the setlist was the perfect blend for visiting countries that have been waiting ever so long for Miku to perform. And the final event of 2025 is Miku With You 2025. Now, there was a lot of worry about whether the concert would or wouldn't go ahead, because leading up to the event, many Japanese concerts were being cancelled in China, including the planned live stream for Miku With You being cancelled in advance as well, so many were unsure if the concert was actually going to go ahead. But it did end up going ahead, and it was absolutely insane. The stage was leaked before the event happened, and we can see multiple massive LED screens, which was used for all of these extra visuals that just added a huge layer to all of these performances, which makes me all the more upset that the live stream was cancelled, because I would love to see these performances in pro shot footage. And hopefully they did record one of these days and will release the footage to the public later on. I can't comment much on the performances as all we have is fan footage, but Miku performed the theme song in the main visuals outfit, as well as it being a brand new model type, with a couple other songs being re-rendered to use it as well. And we got a brand new performance, which is one of the Project Voltage songs, which is The Pokemon Inside My Heart by Pinocchio-P. And the thing I was most excited for when I found out, they performed Romeo and Cinderella, but with the render from the final Thanksgiving Day concert in 2012, which is my favourite rendition of this performance just for the costume. And I really hope they keep this one for future performances, because the Miku part one they've been using just doesn't hit for me. And they used the dance version of Sankyu for the first time since 2018, as well as having one song change between each concert, one of which being The Tale of the Deep Sea Lily, which hadn't been performed in 9 years, as well as fragments of A Star, which I was so hopeful would perform at Magical Mirai 2025, but it just didn't. It fit the theme perfectly, why not? And the only other thing I really want to comment on is the song distribution is so heavily Miku. Like, out of 23 songs, she's not on stage for 3 of them. Have we gone back in time? Especially after that Mirai set list? And technically, none of the other Vocaloids got solo performances. Dr. Funbeat and Dreaming Choo Choo had other characters on stage. And it makes me so upset, but it is kind of perfect for the fans in China. Because for some reason, a lot of fans in China only like Miku, and they don't care much for the other characters. I remember when Mirai 2024 happened, and the 6-singer version of Hand in Hand debuted, so many Chinese fans were so upset that the other Kryptonoids dared to touch Miku's song. Like, are we kidding? I understand Miku being your favourite, but there's no reason to diss the other characters. Especially after they've been fighting for screen time they've finally got after all of these years. I know it's not all the Chinese fans and it's just the vocal ones, but it's still such a shame to see people so upset about the characters sharing a stage, and for sharing one of the most impactful songs of the Vocaloid community, and the fact that this setlist catered to the vocal fans and it's mostly Miku. Like, there's not a single solo performance of the other characters, and it's just so upsetting to see. But other than my gripe with the song distribution, overall it seems like a very good event, especially with the experimentation of the visuals, which has so much potential if they keep exploring it, but the characters do look really tiny, which is something they'd need to try and work around, because these visuals kind of overwhelm them. But overall it was a really good and unexpected event, since it was still unsure if it was going to go ahead, but many fans are already anticipating the next one and hope they keep up this standard for future events. And with its success, it could continue to be this format for the future of Miku With You, and maybe leak into other Miku events, but we'll just have to wait and see, and hopefully they will release official footage in the future, because this event does break the previous bounds of Miku concerts. And I also just want to see the visuals because they look so cool. And while it's not a proper concert, I still think it deserves an honourable mention, happen, as on New Year's Eve, Miku is participating in the Tokyo Nighttime Project, where she is going to be projected onto the Tokyo Metropolitan Government Building for a live performance. And if that wasn't crazy enough, she's going to be performing Magical Cure Love Shot, which is absolutely insane that an English Miku song is going to be performed in Japan to welcome in the new year, and is such a big achievement for SAWTOWNE as well as the English Vocaloid community. I don't think even he would have been able to predict how far his song would go. And with that, the 2025 Miku concert season comes to an end. However, let's have a look at the already promising 2026 lineup of concerts. Kicking off the year is the Lawson 50th Anniversary Live that takes place in mid-January, which is going to be held in the exact same venue as Magical Mirai 2013, which is relevant as it's been confirmed that many of the songs that live debuted at Magical Mirai 2013 will perform at this event as well, so many long gone songs may finally be returning to us, as well as the song that was written for the Gundam's 45th anniversary, Idol Warrior, is also confirmed to be performing at this event. Then in March, we have another boundary breaking concert, which is Project Voltage Live, which will feature Miku and the others performing songs from Project Voltage on stage with Pokemon. And remember how I said Teto performing at Blooming opens up future opportunities? Well, she is once again featuring as a guest performer at this event, which we have already gotten a sneak peek at some of the performances that will happen. Then in April, Miku EXPO returns to North America once more, visiting a total of 15 locations with a total of 19 concerts, and a main visual that I'm totally not jealous of with how cute it is. And the final confirmed event so far for 2026 is Magical Mirai 2026, which was announced at the end of Magical Mirai 2025 to be taking place over July and August, where they will be once more visiting 3 locations: Osaka, Tokyo, and this time Hamamatsu. Next year is already so jam-packed full of promising concerts, and there's still half the year still open for more events to be confirmed, hopefully one of which is Miku EXPO Europe. But that is all for this video, and once more, please be sure to check out Voca merch as they have so many goods available and I'm sure you'd find something you'd like. And thank you once again for sending me this lucky box. But that is all for this video, and I can't wait to see what the Miku concerts of 2026 have in store for us.